The numbers don't add up. They never did. When you look at the balance sheet of the world's largest automaker, you expect conservatism, you expect over-engineering, you expect the relentless pursuit of perfection that defined the Lexus LS400 or the indestructible Land Cruiser. But on February 21, 2024, a document hit the servers of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that shattered that illusion. Safety Recall 24V131. To the casual observer, it was just another notice, another piece of paper in the bureaucratic machine of Washington, D.C. But to those of us who track the flow of automotive capital, to those of us who understand the microscopic tolerances of modern transmission fluid dynamics, this wasn't just a recall, it was a confession. It was the moment Toyota admitted that their transition to the 10-speed automatic platform wasn't just an engineering evolution, it was a $10 billion gamble that had gone critically wrong. Tonight, we are not just looking at a truck, we are looking at a crime scene. We are peeling back the aluminum skin of the 2024 Tundra to expose a failure of logic, a failure of hardware, and a cover-up of physics that threatens to destabilize the resale value of millions of units across the North American market. This is the story of how the quest for EPA compliance forced the most conservative engineers in Japan to push a clutch pack beyond its physical breaking point. This is the secret truth of the transmission recall. To understand the gravity of this failure, we have to go back to the drawing board, literally. The previous generation Tundra utilized the AB60 6-speed automatic. It was a dinosaur, heavy, inefficient, but it was bulletproof. You could tow a space shuttle with it. But in the boardroom, the AB60 was a liability. With tightening CAFE standards and the EPA demanding higher fuel efficiency, Toyota needed more gears. They needed tighter ratios. They needed the AWR1L65, 10 speeds.
Direct shift. A mechanical marvel designed to keep the twin-turbo V6 in its peak efficiency window at all times. But complexity introduces chaos. The issue lies deep within the torque converter assembly and the specific engagement logic of the neutral control software. When you shift a 6,000-pound truck into neutral, the transmission is supposed to disengage the clutch packs completely, severing the link between the engine's torque and the drive wheels. It is a binary state, connected or disconnected, but the AWR10L65 doesn't work in binaries, it works in gradients. In an effort to smooth out shifts and improve throttle response, the engineers programmed a logic loop that keeps the clutch plates hovering just microns apart, bathed in transmission fluid, ready to snap shut the moment the driver demands power. It's called drag reduction in the patent filings. But in the real world, we call it a ticking time bomb. The NHTSA filing reveals the horror. On affected vehicles, the Transmission Control Unit, or TCU, fails to fully depressurize the clutch actuator when the vehicle is on a flat surface in neutral. The result? The clutch plates don't separate. They drag. Friction builds. Heat spikes. And suddenly, a truck that the dashboard says is in neutral begins to creep forward. Imagine this scenario. You are hitching a boat. You put the truck in neutral to align the ball. You step out, and as you walk between the bumper and the trailer tongue, the 2024 Tundra, driven by a ghost in the software, lurches forward. This isn't theoretical. This is the mechanical reality described in the defect report submitted to the federal government. The scope is massive, 280,000 vehicles. But the fix? The fix is where the story gets dark. Toyota claims it's a software update. A simple reflash of the ECU to change the pressure variance in the hydraulic lines. But any hydraulic engineer will tell you that software cannot fix hardware that has already been compromised.
If those clutch packs have been dragging for 10,000 miles, the friction material is already degrading. The fluid is already contaminated with microscopic particulate matter. By reflashing the software, they are simply widening the tolerances, masking the wear that has already occurred. They are putting a digital band-aid on a mechanical wound. Why? So they gamble. They gamble that the software patch will hold. They gamble that the clutch packs have enough life left to make it out of the warranty period. It is a calculated risk, managed by actuaries, not engineers, and it is happening right under your nose. Let's dig into the technical schematics of the AWR10L65. This unit shares architecture with the 10-speed found in the Ford F-150 and the GM Silverado, part of a joint development venture. However, Toyota insisted on their own control logic and their own torque converter specifications. They wanted that Toyota feel. That decision created an orphan variable in the code. In the software architecture, there is a subroutine responsible for monitoring the output shaft speed sensor relative to the engine RPM. When the gear selector is in N, the expected output shaft speed is 0. However, because of the parasitic drag caused by the tight tolerances of the clutch packs, specifically the forward clutch C1, the output shaft can rotate even when commanded open. The TCU sees this rotation. It should trigger a fault code. It should dump pressure immediately. But the logic, designed to prevent harsh engagements, interprets this rotation as implausible and enters a hesitation loop. It thinks the sensor is wrong, rather than accepting that the transmission is physically moving the truck. It is a classic case of confirmation bias written in C++. The computer prioritizes smoothness over safety.
It prioritizes the driver experience over the physical reality of the vehicle state. And this logic flaw was not caught in simulation. It was not caught in the thousands of hours of dyno testing. It was caught by customers. It was caught by terrified owners watching their $70,000 investment roll away from them. The investigation documents from the recall audit show that Toyota was aware of potential unintended movement reports as early as late 2023, yet the recall wasn't issued until February 2024. What happened in those intervening months? We call that the silence. That is the period where legal teams assess liability. That is the period where the financial impact is calculated against the cost of human life. It is the grim arithmetic of the automotive industry. And the Tundra is just the tip of the spear. This transmission is slated for the Sequoia. It is slated for the new Tacoma. If this architecture is fundamentally flawed, we are looking at a contagion that could infect the entire body of Toyota's truck lineup. The Sequoia, a family hauler, uses the exact same drivetrain. Does a software patch fix the anxiety of a parent loading groceries? Does it fix the doubt that creeps in when you shift into park? Because let's be clear, while the recall specifies neutral, the hydraulic circuits for park and neutral share common pathways. If the pressure regulation is faulty in neutral, what guarantee do we have that the parking pawl engagement isn't being stressed by residual torque? The parking pawl is a small piece of metal. It is designed to hold the vehicle's weight, not to fight the torque of a twin-turbo V6 pushing against it. If that pawl snaps, the truck rolls. Game over. This brings us to the $10 billion figure. That is the estimated capital investment Toyota has poured into the TNGA-F platform. The frame, the engines, the electronics that underpin this new generation of trucks. They bet the farm on this platform. They walked away from the V8.
They walked away from the proven 6-speed. They bet that complexity could equal reliability. But the market is reacting. Residual values for the 2022-2023 Tundra are already showing volatility. Auction data from Manheim suggests a hesitation among wholesale buyers. Why? Because nobody wants to hold the bag on a truck with a transmission that has a permanent mark on its record. A software recall stays on the VIN report forever. It is a scarlet letter. And for a brand built on the promise of the best resale value, that is a catastrophe. We spoke to master technicians who work on these units. Off the record, they tell us about the fluid. It smells burnt at 5,000 miles, one told us. The fluid looks like it has 100,000 miles on it. That is heat. That is friction. That is the physical evidence of the drag issue that the software update is supposed to fix. But you can't unburn oil. Once the additive package in the ATF breaks down, the wear accelerates exponentially. The bearings, the bushings, the solenoid screens, they all begin to suffer. So the software update stops the creeping. But does it stop the dying? Does it stop the premature failure of the transmission at 80,000 miles, conveniently just outside the powertrain warranty? This is the question every owner needs to ask. This is the secret truth. The recall is not the end of the story, it is the beginning of the decline. We are witnessing the erosion of the Toyota myth, one clutch pack at a time. The 10-speed transmission was supposed to be the future. Instead, it has become a liability managed by code, hidden by corporate statements, and paid for by the consumer. As we watch the stock price, as we watch the NHTSA docket, remember this: a car company is only as good as its engineering, and when the engineering is overruled by EPA mandates and cost-cutting logic, the result is Recall 24V-131.
The result is a gamble where the house wins and the driver loses.
This is not just about a truck moving in neutral. This is about a corporation moving away from its soul. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a price tag you cannot quantify.